All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing it back to you here now in the match as it's getting started finally. Liquid versus the Immortals here, going live with the first map now, and it should be jumping into it right now. The pistol round is getting started. I actually do have an observer for this one, so give me one moment. We have a bit of an awkward setup that we have to try and work towards here, but we're going to try to get this set up really quickly. And, then we can get things rolling here. Oh, that's not what we want. Well, regardless, we'll jump into it here and just take a look and see if we can get this going. His DJ is actually currently staying over, so he'll have access to the observation, and we'll try to work it here. We're both looking off the same screen, but I imagine, yeah, we'll just try to figure it out. But we are live in the pistol round now, and it is going to be Liquid on the CT side with Immortals onto the T side. Early on here, Immortals, for the most part, just sending their players over here to the B side. They're not really committing themselves into it just yet. Keeping it quiet. Obviously, the decoy being tossed down below, but that's not really going to mean much. Liquid's players, however, in the standard setup as well, as we can take a look across the map here. Liquid just holding back and waiting for the Immortals to eventually jump back inside. The thing is, though, is they didn't put anybody over towards A long or anything like that. So Pimp has free reign. He just push right out here. He's getting all this intel. He's checking it out for free right now. But at the same time, the members of the Immortals, they are starting to get closer to dropping in here. I'm not sure. They're pretty far away, so I'm actually not entirely sure if they would have heard the drop from the outside. They're definitely expecting it, though, and Liquid just not moving at all at this point. Remaining stalwart in their positions, and we do start to see them shift out towards it now. But look, again, they're really not moving out towards this. They're still just remaining quiet, and they're down to 30 seconds now, so this is going to be an all-in explosion here and hope that Liquid don't counter them out. Nitro finding the first blow there, a second one from Pimp. Pimp just shutting this down along with JDM. FNX has been able to trade in a couple of kills here. Lucas is now down, though, however, as the last man standing, and he's not going to last very long at all, so Liquid put a quick stop to that one. The Immortals spend all of that time just trying to hold out there and set up what could have been a good take, but again, at the very end of it, Liquid just ended up kind of getting wrecked, so we do see that work pretty quickly. And with that said, Liquid will get off to the good start. We actually have to fix something really quickly, guys, so we're going to put it back on auto director for a second, but let me just see here. There we go. Okay, cool. So now we can give back the control to the observer, and he should be uninterrupted. Should not be interrupted, I should say, for the rest of the game now. As the guys from the Immortals here again line up a bit more spread out this time, obviously having the pressure back over here towards the mid connector a little bit more. Lucas at the same time too, sitting back over there at the exit to A long with him. They're both just stacking it together, and we can see for the rest of these guys, again, Liquid just spread out across. It's the usual second round buy from Liquid and whatnot here. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Immortals, unfortunately, weren't really able to get themselves confidently on the site, so they just forced into this one with Tech 9s. The big issue overall here, just to kind of go into more of a meta discussion for a second, is how much of a variance they're actually going to bring when we get to gun runs, of course, to these T sides. How much are they going to be able to change up here and there to try and actually throw off the guys from Liquid? Because right now, their more passive style is really not going to allow the Immortals players to get a lot of kills here, as they're trying to play to this slow pace too, and it doesn't really mesh well for the Immortals here if they have a fairly limited playbook. And we can already see here too, as they do try to push their way in. Elige, unfortunately dinking his teammate quite a bit, but we do see Elige picking up a kill. Nitro with one, but he overstays his welcome inside of the drop room. Pimp flying inside of here as well. The two remaining players for the Immortals have all already been lit. It's FNX and Lucas as the last two players standing up right now. FNX and Lucas will have to try to work this out, but Lucas at the same time backing up here, trying to play around with him a little bit. If he can line up a deagle headshot angle or get a back shot to one of these guys, it'll be great. In fact, he might be able to do it, but he spins around, finds that one and another one all of a sudden. Lucas impacting in big ways here, trying to maximize the damage. 18 seconds left, so they still actually have time to play with this a little bit here. On the site, though, trying to stop this from going any further is going to be Pimp, sitting over there in the back lane as he positions himself up on top, but he's peeked out just now. The problem is, though, is he can't actually spot the bomb, or at least the player that plants it there. FNX will find yet another kill in his stand, and now it's just Pimp left alive here. Finds that first one. I think he spotted the peek from FNX back over there by the doorway, too. He's going to see it now with the nade. The Kobe shot rolls out from FNX, and it's Immortals that will immediately upset things as we go 1 for 1 into the start of the second round here now. Taking a look across the board here too for Liquid. If they're even going to force back into this, well, they definitely will. A shotgun buy comes out from Stand, and everybody else goes for it. They won't take a loss of that round lightly at all. As we take a look for the Immortals, though, they're right up to the AKs. 2 SMGs to utilize on both bolts and steel, and they are going to send things once again, just reeling back over here to the B bomb site, setting up really quickly. At which point they will attempt to deploy over into the B bomb site more than likely here. Liquid have their players pushed out again. The shotgun from Stan specifically is that's the most curious buy there. Has gone way over here towards the A long position. Probably not going to see much use out of it, to be completely honest, judging from the way that things are going. Immortals are looking like they're just going to push this towards B yet again. But Liquid had a pretty good setup to try and stop this last time. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, Immortals still won it out, but it was just barely. So if they clean it up a little bit, then they still should be able to hold control of this very easily. As again, it's that very, very passive style being used right now by the members of the Immortals. They're all just kind of hanging out right now on top of drop and running that timer down. Meanwhile, on the site itself, you've got Pimp waiting, kind of doing double duty, watching out for the approach outside of the drop room, along with trying to help out Elige if needed back over there by Broken Wall too. But finally, 45 seconds left. Smoke start to push out here that would give the Immortals a bit of an advantage to push in from. Steel as well is going to investigate towards the mid connector there. Just rushes right in and finds Nitro, but the shotgun at long range from Stan grabs the headshot against Steel and prevents him from going any further. Now Elige in the cubby. He'll be spotted and flashbanged out pretty easily there. Pimp as well, unfortunately, doesn't grab anything, so the site's wide open. Yet again, the Immortals swing in here, and they are able to get control of this. 4v2 is what we're left at, with JDM and Stanislaw. They're both in the general vicinity of the site, so they can try to peek in here and see if they can pick up any extra damage onto the members of the Immortals here, but for the most part, they've already been iced out of the site, and they're going to have to fall back and save, as they did force into this one, so next round will be a full eco. They'll pass away from this one, and again, that gives the T players here a good start. After we did see Liquid actually picking up the pistol there, kind of shutting it down. The Immortals were able to upset in the second, and now it's actually going to be them taking control of the match too, so they've stolen it away from Liquid, and they have their potential to build up here and put the guys from Liquid onto their first eco. And kind of the worst thing about this too is really destabilize the Liquid economy with them having 4 spot into this one. They're not going to have to kind of try to reestablish things and get things back under control in terms of their money, and that's always the struggle for the CT side, and they've just made that job that much harder by upsetting this and also baiting Liquid into the force, or just making them force into the next round here. So if we take a look, 2K left over. Again, obviously the players that did manage to survive will be able to still have a little bit of gunpowder to work with, but everybody else has to save at that 2K margin. They may even only have a half bite to work with going into the next round too. So it's a bit of a wait and see game, but for the most part here, again, Immortals now in control of the bargaining situation, but still no variance. Eventually, Liquid are going to be able to have that much greater gunpowder, and with the very repetitive openers that we're seeing from the Immortals here, Liquid will eventually try to latch onto this and see if they can punish it a little bit better. But again, full 5-man deployment from Liquid over to the B bomb site. Nobody on A whatsoever. They do have Steel investigating specifically like over here by the suicide steps and whatnot. I don't know if he's going to go all the way up to the site itself, but if he does see it before the Immortals initiate their push, then they can just call off all of this B aggression and send it spiraling back over here into the A bomb site, where they're not going to have to worry about anyone at all. And he's creeped up to it now. He's seen it. He also can do this too, what he's doing now, where they don't even have to rotate back, but he can move in and pinch and basically guarantee a free open drop room, as they have no clue he's coming right now. There you go. Walks right up. There's the first kill for him. More being done on the inner site too, as he does swing in through the door there, finding the position of Stanislaw in the corner there. He does get traded out by Elige, but that is the real big kill that they managed to pick up here, as everyone else just goes down without too much of a fight. It's a quick one, again, in the favor of the Immortals here, after they finally engage the fight, that is. So they go 3-1. And finally, Liquid, after that save, though, they are able to get themselves a bye. But for a lot of these guys, unfortunately, they were still a little bit low, so utility is going to be limited. For the most part, they were able to get, like, smokes. They get the basics, but some have had to sacrifice why flashbangs and whatnot to be able to get a little bit of extra, like, HE grenade power or a Molotov or something like that. So if the Immortals guys weigh their aggression in a good way and they're able to bait out a lot of it from Team Liquid, then, again, assuming their entry power remains strong here, then they will actually have a fairly easy time getting into the site and preventing Liquid from really doing anything on a retake. But this time, finally, a bit of a change-up for the T side, as we've been seeing. They've just been going for these walk-ins to the B halls and letting the timer run down with eventual executes leading in a fairly normal fashion to the B bomb site, but a bit of a change-up, as they do still have Bolt sitting in those halls. He got hit early on by an HE grenade, I believe, but on the way back from the ramp push, Stan gets a firing squad right to his face. Steel is going to open things up by actually getting a kill. Nitro commits himself to that Molotov. FNX saves the day, as we were seeing good damage being done. In fact, it was FNX himself that was almost killed by the hands of the player player that pushed themselves over there. And now because of this, the walk-on round for the Immortals, I'm pretty sure that JDM, Elysian, Pimp are just going to call for a save right now. They're starting to wrap back into the halls, but they've even got players to watch for this now. Immortals covering all assets here, but unfortunately Bolts, when push comes to shove, and he actually does need to stop these players from escaping back over here to the T-spawn area, he fails to pick up the kill. So it's going to let them run back away here. Again, though, with the Immortals, the amount of money that they are going to be able to stack up off of this, that loss of the one player is not going to be too big of a deal, and the others are also hiding out in the hallways to see if they can bait anyone else into pursuing that, at which point they could drop them down and keep the money situation for Liquid, or keep the money situation for the Immortals, I should say, a little bit more unstabilized. As they do go up 4-1 now. A good advantage built off of this one. And they can only go up from here. As Liquid try to justify, they should, in theory, again, with 3 saved guns, they should definitely still be able to, buy into this one. Obviously, they're just going to have to donate guns off of those that saved. Stanislaw, we'll see. I'm pretty sure there's a gun on the ground for him. Maybe? No? They bought a shoddy for him instead at the last second, so they had to figure out what exactly they could afford. I would have thought that they would have been able to go for it, but I think someone bought up utility or something like that too early, so it kills it, and he has to work with the Mag 7, but obviously still a very capable gun to try and play with on this map, considering just the pure raw. There's like 5 to 6 spots where it's a very, very competent gun, and many, many more where you can still use it pretty good as well. And he'll position himself at the edge of A long, which is one of those very good spots to utilize the weapon from. Currently really alone though. Nitro is more of a swing player in between both of the sites, and he's fully committing himself to A. With how heavily the Immortals have been focusing their T site here on the B site pushes, it's not going to be too surprising to see him fall back early. But in fact, he actually does the opposite. He commits in deeper. Is going to work with Stanislaw now. Both of them sitting at this entrance to the A long push up to the site, and watching out in the event that they do fall back, but it's not the case. Pretty sure the Immortals are still sitting at the edge of drop, getting ready to start their own push inside, but not without running to the timer, as we've mentioned before. They've been big fans of just letting this wait out a bit and seeing if they can catch anyone from Liquid being aggressive. They've remained passive at the same time, however, with the exception of the usual A-long aggression and pushing their players out there. So it's still your very, very standard game at this point. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. The Immortals move in, then, when the trades once again get kick-started here. JDM and Henny both trading out frags for each other. Elish stuck in this cubby, and he's waiting to see if he can catch more than just this one single player that peeks out. He gets the one. He knows there's more on the steps, but he's going to fail to take them down. FNX waits in the window here, catches Stanislaw hopping away, and Bolt's also finding Elish. He's going to pick up one more. It's down to Pimp, and out swings FNX to close things down. The Immortals grab a 5th, and they continue to push forward, decimating Liquid here. We should also note too, ladies and gentlemen, the format behind this best of 3 is a little bit weird. It does say there on the graphic that it is a best of 3 at the top right, but it should be clarified that this is an extended best of 3 series, which means that the team that came in from the upper bracket, if they take this set in their favor, then this game is over and that team will have been declared the winner. But if the team coming in from the lower bracket wins the first best of 3, we actually reset the score and start again at 0-0. And if I'm remembering correctly, I have to double check HLTV in a moment here, but I'm pretty sure that it's Immortals again. I'm pretty sure it's Immortals that are actually coming in from the upper bracket, so they have that advantage. If they can 2-0 this set or 2-1 this set, then they'll take it. But if it goes the other way and Team Liquid wins it, then they actually have to reset it all over again and then win another set via 2 maps. So we'll see Steel again getting aggressive here. Liquid, not a great track record so far on these eco rounds in terms of finding impact, but there's Pimp picking up at least 1 kill there against Bolts. Immortals have yet to actually reveal their true intentions, but it does appear as though it's turning itself into another B hit. They've kept quite a few players deployed over towards A, but as I was saying, they're about to push out towards Broken Wall. Well, it seems like changed the game plan a bit, since once again Steel is able to just walk right out here up onto the A bomb site. He's going to get himself free reign over this one. They realize that Liquid are just condensed sitting over there on the alternate site, so they're going to wrap the bomb back in. Just playing it safe in all reality. Again, they want to make this as clean of a round as possible, and it's good to play it out that way, as JDM almost finds himself a match, but again, misses the opportunity, and Pimp will be down at 23 HP as the last man standing, and he's not going to last very long either. Lucas closes it down, and the Immortals push forward now, 6-1, and just look at the money. 12.9k sitting on Henny, 12k sitting on FNX, and along with the 6.5k. The only one that's even low at this point is Bolts, but obviously the the overabundance of amounts sitting on players like FNX and Henny is going to easily make up for him sitting at a lower amount. And this is dangerous here now. Liquid just, I mean, they have to find something. This is getting completely out of control, and if this goes on for much longer, it's the Immortals that are just going to run away with things. Even if they do lose a round or two here, all right, they can just continuously buy and throw that aggression back at Team Liquid every single round. Well, we do have the op in check, and this time, though, for JDM, and he is going to swing in, finding Henny early on. Steal almost given a chance to get a quick response, but JDM again with a second. He's going to chime in for a third now. Going for the fourth. He misses that one, and he'll finally fall into bolts, but the damage has already been done. Drop control was gained from FNX, though, and he's going to swing back out. That's going to add a bit of a difficult thing to work with, but actually Pimp holds while completely blind. Finds the kill onto FNX, and now Bolts will look to clutch 1v3. Surrounded from all areas of the map right now. But no one on Liquid wanting to take a chance on it either until they can get Stanislaw aligned with the flank, at which point he will move in, he will crush it, and he will close out the round for Liquid. That was the one that they needed to pick up here, as that would have been the turning point to where Immortals are just too much in control of this map. Finally, they're going to be able to start whittling down that money a bit more. Now, they have themselves lost a couple players here too, so they're not necessarily in a safe position to build themselves back up. But as we take a look at things, at the very least, they've started themselves back on the path to recovery for the CT side and trying to make things a little bit more closer. And again, from the Immortals is just going to be a path, though, into the B halls with all of their players not really peeking even towards the broken wall approach just yet. The thing is, though, is that JDM is now out here, and he's preparing for it. But he doesn't decide to stick around and wait. Most are actually still playing around with the drop area right now on the Immortals side, and the Tees will just smoke that off to prevent JDM from connecting their shots if they do want to move out and sort of set up their push should they decide to go here. It's that other two-man stack over there back towards the ace push, too, as they're going to split them 1-1. One going long, of course, and one working its way down through the mid-connector. Stanislaw, after really not seeing anything within the first 45 seconds there, does push himself back over to the A-bomb site, just in the event that they did sneak through the mid-connector itself. He wants to be ready for a push up the ramp, and he certainly will want to do that, as the guys from the Immortals are starting to group up over there and check the site again. Nitro, though, he tries to wait and see if he can catch these guys moving out, and they're just going to go for an egg crunch now that they've taken down the players that are weighing in between. Pimp walking up, and Lucas, a last-minute adjustment, allows him to get that kill. Steel finding yet another one. And now JDM and Elige, well, they don't have a hope in the world. Again, the take happens so quickly. This is what's so great about the Immortals, is that they make it seem like it's just going to be your average play, but then all of a sudden they just swing in there and they explode onto the bomb site, and you don't even know what hit you at that point. So there's nothing for JDM and Elige to really do here. They both have to fall back and again prioritize saving their guns, as their economy is not built up at all. Now, Henny, as you can see there, when we turn off the X-ray, did not actually see JDM move up to Rapunzel yet. However, I don't know if JDM spotted Henny either. So Henny's going to sneak up the ladder right now, and they have no idea. He wants the knife right now, looking right. Oh, the flick from JDM, and he saves his life. I think he mind-gamed that a little bit. I think he noticed him, but then went back all of a sudden, kept him in going for the knife, and then flicks in there. Nicely done from JDM. It keeps himself alive, at least. The round will still definitely go into the hand of the Immortals, but they're going to win it out. And so now, ended a 3v2, but oh, unfortunate, as Elige does get dropped right at the end there. Things still continue, however, in the favor of the Immortals off of that one, as only the op gets saved. They do make the decision, it seems, to force into this too. It's a bit of a last-ditch call, but Stanislaw buys in first there with the SMG, and then the others follow suit. And they only get one rifle, and then it's two bought-up pistols. JDM, though, with the aggression, he'll get the first kill against FNX. He'll be hit quite heavily, though, because of the Molotov, and I think he was tagged a little bit, too, just down to 29 HP. And Alice is going to let Elige move forward here. He'll be able to take up a position sitting inside of the cubby, waiting for these guys to push their way inside. And Luke is just hanging out here right now. He's got one for himself. He's going to try to go for a second as Pip peeks into it, but he's down to 8 HP, so he's going to hide away for a little bit. Unfortunately, Stanislaw wraps in through the window, and he doesn't catch that. So this goes into an even 2v2, where Steel's going to move in and try to crunch things a bit. They kept the bomb back, so this is another problem, too, is Henny does actually have to retreat away from here to be able to pick up the bomb and take it either back around through mid-connector there and over in towards A, or back out the window just to try and see if he can get the extra kill on Stan. But that's going to be a bit risky, so he won't choose to do that. He will just take the safe route that I mentioned previously. Group up, as they know they still have full control over the site right now. It's going to be Stanislaw that has positioned himself here, and Steel as well, not moving an inch. That's free reign for Henny to do that wrap. He gets himself up onto the platform with no problems whatsoever. But now it is time for the clutch, as the guys from Liquid will move in to try and go for this retake. As the flashbang goes over top here, it's Stanislaw. Good flashbang connecting initially, but they do not check the position of Henny. Pimp is trying to trade. He knows where they both are, but they're not giving him anything at all. If he wants this kill, he has to jump out and try to go for it here. Again, the flashbang not really working out too well either, but there's not a lot for Pimp to get. And I think in a moment here, he might just call this one off and try to save. But however, he lines up one. And that second player, well, swings right out Steel. A beautiful shot on to Pimp to finish things off. And it'll be the Immortals that again claim yet another round. 8-2 is how their score is going to flush forward here. And as for Liquid, well, again, money after that force, not really going to be looking too great. They, for the most part, can only upgrade to pistols here as Nitro just donates a couple along with JDM. They'll get a P250 or two, but that's about it, as we can see. In fact, one will get donated to Pimp, and that's it. A CZ for Nitro along with a smoke. It's already been used as well. And JDM also picking up the P250. And the Immortals, much faster approach out towards Broken Wall this time. They even tripped them a little bit with the CT smoke, but spraying into it to stop anybody from jumping up onto that Broken Wall spot and getting aggressive. Now, the thing is, though, is that they do have a lot of players surrounding it, so at this point in time, it would not be wise to go for this. Henny, he's actually caught reloading, and now Bolts, he's tracing these shots, though, and look at him. He's able to get a second one through the smoke directly after that one, looking for more JDM sprays, and Bolts had fallen back in the meanwhile, so he's not in a position to trade that one back out. It goes 3 for 3, and not only this, too, but JDM was able to move in there and recover an op, or probably not an op, an AK, so he does have something else to work with here. But Steel also crunching again, waltzing up to the A-bomb site for free. Liquid know this. They already realized that the play is going to be coming into this site, and down goes the AK. JDM got aggressive. He moved himself out towards that site connector and tried to see if he could pick up a player or two, but does not work. He loses the big gun, and for Stanislaw, along with Pimp here, they did find another AK, I think, sitting on the ground there. So Pimp's managed to recover that, and I don't imagine that they'll be doing anything else in terms of a retake here. No utility. Neither of them have armor either to work with that AK on, so they're really outmatched in terms of their capability to do anything about this. Again, decent damage done, but with the amount of cash that the Immortals have, this is going to be essentially a moot point, as it's not really going to do anything in the grand scheme of things here to Immortals' economy. They can easily just rebuy those 3 players, especially with us growing up towards the end of the half here too. So for Liquid, not finding their mark on this one, but I believe after this save, we'll see another gun run from them where they can try to close it out. 9-2 becomes the scoreline here as the Immortals continue to shut things down. And what's odd again, too, is that Liquid continue to just abandon that A bomb site after the slightest hint of aggression towards B. And even though the Immortals may fail at their initial push, they're always able to rotate back in and just walk right up into the A bomb site because of the fact that they're letting Bolts or whoever pushes towards it into that site for free every single round. They always abandon it, and we almost always see at least one of their players moving over towards it, and I think they're actually really just going to try to take full advantage of this now by just going right for the site. They know at most there's only 1 or 2 players here, and they're very split up. So if they can, right from the beginning of this one, take an advantage, that'd be great. But JDM, he'll go for the peek, and he kills the B player. I'm not sure if he spotted anything else behind it or not to be able to call this one off, but it's not just him that's impacting. It's Stan as well, who's moved into suicide over there. Finds FNX, and he's going to hunt for one more. He'll get it. It's Henny that drops Stanislaw over there, falling back. Henny and Lucas will group up, and they'll both try to push their way back over here towards the A-bomb site. Smokes and whatnot going into the cross as well, so that they can try to make this a little bit cleaner. But Liquid have sounded the alarms, and for the first time in a while, they've been able to adequately rotate. JDM chiming in once again with his second kill of the round. And now it's all down on Henny to try and clutch this one out. A 1v4. They know exactly where he's playing from, too. Peek from Pimp. They've reaffirmed it. The other peek from the other side there on JDM's end almost allows him to end this one. But Henny's playing this smart right now. He knows that there's players that are going to come into the flank right now, and he's looking for them. There's Nitro, gone down. Tries to line up the headshot against Pimp, but that is finally where he'll meet his match. Pimp will end things, and Liquid do manage to chain together a third for themselves, saving quite a few guns, or scavenging, I should say, quite a few guns off of the corpses of the Immortals here too. So they will save a bit of money on their rebuys. But the Immortals is no problem for them. They buy down onto it, and they should, I think, have enough for at least one more investment. And that'll take us all the way basically to the 15th round. They may be broken there, but they'll have buys up to that point. We do hear very loud footsteps leading up to the broken wall again. Pimp should be able to sound the alarms about that. JDM is going to go for the aggressive peek yet again. I don't think he'll be able to spot much, unfortunately, as the smoke is in the way. But there is a gap on it on the right side that he can peer through here if they jump back down. And Henny specifically will be playing up on top, trying to wait for his own opportunity to strike. Molotovs go to the backside there again. Nobody hiding behind that coverage spot, so not going to be impacted too much there. More of the utility being tossed back down over towards it, and the drop down comes in. JDM, though, he finds that shot on the Henny, predicts it beautifully, and just sinks it directly onto Henny to take him down. The rest of the Immortals, they're frozen now, trying to go for this drop play. And while they do move in towards it, all right, now they're committed. Now they need to make sure that this actually ends up working out for them. Nitro's waiting on the outside. They're going to try to crunch on A, and there's the kill from Lucas. Now they've spun around, but they're going to get smoked back out. They can't safely push back in. Here's Stanislaw, though. We saw him do some great damage back along last time, but no. FNX spins around, finds the shot on the Stanislaw. And this will become a 4v3 in the favor of the Immortals now, as Liquid again are outmatched on the site. And judging from the current status of things at the moment, looking like they may save. It's kind of hesitant, though, as we do see Elige has gotten that kill, so they may go for it now, as they do start to push their way back in through the site connectors and whatnot. And Elige is just going to go directly through mid. Yeah, they'll make an attempt for this one, as they've got quite a few of the members of the Immortals also lit up here, too. Steel's at 52. Lucas is way back on A-Long at 8 HP, but the thing is, he's counter-flanking if he continues on his current path. And that may just shut Elige down. They're up on the site, and there you go. There's the counterflank from Lucas. It takes out Elige. He can safely fall back. JD doesn't even know which way to look, and Pimp, yeah, just resolves to retreat now with the AK still in hand at the very least. But it's another trade round, which seems to be the common theme here for Liquid. The Immortals are shutting it down right now, and they're going to be able to get into double digits here as they find a 10th. As you've seen before, Liquid here just broken yet again. There's not enough money. It's going to be on the 14th round, and Stan does force into it. The rest of the team is going to follow up after that one, since they still have the AK. They are going to toss over, however, a UMP to Nitro so that they can add a little bit of utility to the mix. JDM can certainly buy his own, and these UMPs are certainly not something to be underestimated after we saw the play from them at the Major just a little over a week ago now. And as they do move in, we start to see the lines closed between these two teams, but it's still that same usual lineup from the Immortals. The fact that it's remained a very basic T set does not seem to matter, because their entries are absolutely on point when it comes to their consistency about it. Whether it's the drop plays or the pushes work their way out here towards the A-bomb site, which can open the site, and that's exactly what they've done now. There is nothing that Liquid have been able to do to consistently stop the Immortals from pushing in, and we are going to see them now going all in on an A play as the bomb starts to rotate around. But they haven't realized, though, is that JDN lurked his way out over the balcony there, so he's going to battle it back. FNX finds Elige, though, with inside of the site connector, so he's going to pick up a very important kill against Elige there. And that is basically isolated JDM now over here towards the A side. He's on his own. He can't hope to really do anything, but considering they've all forced into it, I mean, the save isn't really a great option either, but considering it's only a UMP, but still, at least it's something that he can carry into the next round now, rather than just risking his life in what could prove to be a somewhat foolish 1v3. And he's also shown up to be the biggest fragger so far here, too, for Liquid. It's Nitro that's really weighing behind right now. You can see on the score, we're 2 and 14. FNX closing the gap here. Not going to be moving inside of the shed to hunt him down just yet. But in a moment, he may have that opportunity to do so. It all depends on if he's got the right read on this in terms of where he'll be positioned. Moving in, and there's JDM lining up the first shot, doing as much damage as it can, but it will only align itself for that singular kill as the Immortals close out in 11th, and the investment re-rolls back in from Liquid. But with the drop of that UMP, we'll see it back in play for players like Pimp and whatnot, and probably JDM is going to get something similar once more here too. But this could have been another one. They could have tossed over to a teammate or something like that, and instead he made the decision to go aggressive, which made essentially no difference in the overall outcome of this buy, as the Immortals were still able to fully invest into this last round here, and I think they had plenty of leftover cash too. Pimp, though, he can hear this, he can hear the shuffling. He should be able to call for the assistance, but no, Nitro's just out in the open, tucks his head down to try and see if he can survive as he's behind the wall there, but it does not work. Bolt still shuts him down, and it's not just him either. They take Pimp down on the flank side. Stanislaw also has a flank to work for himself as he peeks back out into the open. They're going to surprise him a little bit, but they still manage the scenario. Bolts will find that kill. Elige finally training for something here, and JDM picking one up too. So they got control of this outer wall here, but okay. Lucas just hits JDM through the door, hits him in the head, and down he goes. And now it's just Elige. Picks up the AK and hopefully looked to clutch better, but ends up just walking into a big spray of bullets, at which point Lucas is going to end it 12-3. It's an absolutely crushing half yet again. Going back in a certain degree to the French game that we just watched a little over an hour ago. Immortals showing no signs of struggling whatsoever on that T side. And now with a pistol round victory, they essentially all but have control of this second half in their hands, along with the map that would follow it through too. And if they take control of not just this first map, but they move through into the second one and win that one, and they've got the set, and they have got, which I believe is actually only the one NA slot that's up for grabs here now in this qualifier for IEM Katowice. So it's basically all or nothing here, as the guys from Immortals are going to look to take that slot for the North American side. Technically, it would be the Americas side, but unfortunately, playing on North American servers. So anyway, for Liquid, it's going to be, again, your very straightforward pistol round. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Probably one or two players going into drop, but the rest flooding out towards Broken. And Bolts, a good stop from him initially, but it is traded out by Elige. However, Nitro's peeking out there, so it's an easy kill for Lucas to be able to pop off on. Henny finding another one here too. Really forcing the issue on the plant. At the very least, they'll get that, so they've guaranteed that for themselves. But they really, really need to win this one out. And thankfully, JDM is doing a great job of trying to do that. He's picked up multiple kills from up on top of the wall here, but he's being flanked out from the right side. He can still battle this, though. In fact, Steel hasn't spotted him. He goes for the other player now. JDM pushes forward, but it's not going to work. Steel gets those last two kills, and the Immortals push through with yet another round. 13-3. They control the pistol yet again. And now they are just a few rounds away from claiming map number 1 here. A valiant attempt from JDM. But again, a lot of usually the heavy hitters that we would see from Liquid at the moment just not showing up to the table in crucial rounds like that. They find themselves knocked out without adequate trades, and Liquid essentially just have to bow down to the Immortals there in that situation. They did find, as mentioned previously, the plant, so we will not see the aggressive second round buy from Liquid. I'm also surprised, too, that we didn't see, just a smoke or two picked up here so that they can try to rush their way onto his site. They're just going for the P250s in the case of Pimp. They're not going to go for anything at all. They will try to go very quickly over here towards Lawn, but look at Henny. The shotgun, he could get some massive cash with this. The double shot! And a third one to follow it up. Henny, massive damage, and he gets the fourth. Destroying Liquid there. They don't go anywhere soon, and with that, the Immortals get an easy 14th round. Beautiful from Henny. Those two players on Liquid just line right up on the first one. Flawless use of the shotgun, and now they are indeed in full control of this matchup here. But Liquid, without any choice, they'll force into this one. It's just not going to be great because they didn't get that second plant. They don't have the utility to work with here. Smokes and whatnot are going to be there, but beyond that, they've only really got flashbangs. No HE grenades, no Molotovs, so we'll see what they have to offer us against the Immortals. But at the moment, they are 100% in control of the map and the situation regarding this game right now. And again, actually a little bit lucky that that doesn't spread onto him there and cause some additional damage. HE grenades. They continue to actually chuck all those into the backside here, but for the most part, these have been fairly wasted. 96, 93, 88 is not great damage, and they toss 2 or 3 of them into the backside there. Only Steel and Bolts have them left to work with, and they're thankfully still playing into this side, so they can try to counter it out if there's just going to be another big push from Liquid, which seems to be likely from the current status of things. But they'll also have to watch out. The guys from Liquid, this is for players like FNX who are going to be in that cubby there. They're holding very, very tricky positions if you do not watch out for them. The chicken coop is also going to be used at this time too from Steel. Well, they'll move in. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade at the start as Lucas picks up a 1-for-1 from that corner there. Bolts tries to roll in there, but Elige, nicely done and nicely held from him. He will be able to find Bolts and take him down. That's drop control for these guys. The remaining 3 on the Immortals are set up at a pier, but look at this flashbang. It's perfect. FNX is able to roll right in. He only gets one thing because they fall back. They do line up, and it's not just these 2 kills they've gotten as well, but they did get another one back by Chicken Coop. So now it's Henny looking to clutch this out. He doesn't realize, though, that the players are close up to him. He takes that first shot. He falls back promptly, and I think he's actually going to call this on a save and let Liquid get their 4th round. They're still, however, with that minor victory, 10 rounds away from just tying this game up. And meanwhile, the Immortals, falling back. I imagine that they still have the cash flow. They should have enough to justify a 4. So it'll be a little bit risky on some players, but I think they can go for it, especially with the op get saved. So they'll have that extra money more than likely to be able to force into the next round. If they can upset on Liquid, they just reset it there, and that makes that final round that they need to pick up a very easy task to acquire. As a Liquid here actually almost meets their match, but thankfully that cubby position that's played out there along with a flashbang does not get all 3 kills. If it did, that would have been fairly quick sailing away from Liquid. But it was not meant to be. So Liquid survived for another day. They are able to pick up the round there, and they keep themselves pushing forward for a little bit longer. And again, to mention this too, as I didn't imagine many people are thinking, well, I don't know why anyone would think it's legit, but there is a bug currently with the ESCA stats in game. A good 90% of the players in this server is not correct. Stanislaw and Pimp are not 0-15 and 0-13. And also, actually the Dest didn't really get that far off, but Steel and FNX is not 1-1, and Steel is not 16-1. That would be incredible. But yeah, it's not the way it's working. It's a little bit bugged right now. So for Team Liquid, though, fast smokes deploying is going to allow them to sort of try to push their way back out. Drop, though, gets washed away very quickly, and this is going to let them flood into the site. We can see Liquid with their smoke setup and whatnot. It is kind of letting them get beyond the broken wall, but they actually don't really want to pressure it. They feel cautious about this one, and there's a bad thing that can happen with this one, especially with Steel lurking around the corner here. He's going to be able to do massive damage. There's 2 kills for him, and Steel with yet another one puts Immortals up on a match point, and what's even better is they don't lose a single player there. So even if Liquid try to fight back now, this round that they managed to force their way through here should be enough to be able to force right back into it again if somehow Liquid are able to win this. But you can see it, as I talked about just 2 rounds ago. Liquid, thereby going into this round, is not going to be the greatest. They only get 1 rifle up to the table, and that's going to go into the hands of Elige. Everybody else is working with Tech 9s. They have utility, so they can use smokes and want to try and set something up, but that is not necessarily a recipe for success, especially with Henny making those aggressive plays. His moves right out there, dominates Pimp and shuts him down. A few more are going to try to follow up here to see if they can overwhelm Henny at the very least. But he's already called for help. He's going to have bolts rotating back in here. Well, he won't be immediately available to help Henny back over here on Suicide. They'll be sticking in. A missed flick, though, and now Stan's up close. But Stan, before Henny can even recover to fire up the bullet there, gets the headshot. And now he's got the op in hand, too. But he'll be denied on his attempt to get a kill onto bolts there. And this will cause a halt on the remaining members of Liquid and buy a lot of time for the Immortals to rotate another player back in. Obviously, the possibility that they could just fall right back and swing this over to B is still alive too, so the Immortals are not going to fully bite on this. They're still going to keep 2 within the B bomb site, specifically FNX along with Steel. But when it comes down to it, Liquid do need to force their way forward eventually, but the time will work out, and the fact that there's 55 seconds on the clock, still a decent amount of time to work with here, and Liquid can remain slow. They can cause that uncertainty on the Immortals. That always seems to happen when you run the timer down. Unless you have a really restrained team, there almost always is some second guessing that may go on. Some players, at the very least, will shift out of positions in preparation to rotate, and that's where you can really capitalize on it, because those positions are almost never going to be safely secured, and it's very easy to knock those guys out as they're oftentimes just in the open or very weakly secured. But finally, as time does tick down a little bit low here, if we're being honest, Liquid moving in here now with 20 seconds on the clock. Bolt shutting down 1, but it's a quick trade, and now Lucas, he's up to bat. He spotted the players, has yet to fire off at this. They haven't noticed him. Gets a lead, swings back down. A quick trade from JDM, and this goes 2v2 now. But the thing is, they're going for this one. FNX swings in there. I would have thought for sure Liquid would have been able to get that kill at the door, but no, it's not meant to be. The bomb, it's going to go down onto the ground just barely. JDM, though, this is such a tough spot. They know exactly where he is. He can't safely move out anywhere else. He's hoping he can swing this kill over here. And nicely done from JDM. He does indeed get the kill on his Steel. There's 1 more to go, though, and it's FNX pushing him. He's got a lot of time to play with. He's got a kit, and he's got to get that kill. So there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, it will be the Immortals that do take control of map number 1 here. They're going to shoot themselves ahead, and they're only 1 more map away as well from being able to take control of this set and be able to move forward to qualify for IEM Katowice. Guys, we are going to go to a quick break really quickly. Be sure to stick around, and the second map should be coming up in just a little bit. Once again, this is the IEM Katowice qualifiers. More coming up in just a moment.